Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. It is July 29th. My first thoughts go to the people of Gilroy, those people who reside there and have had this brutality sort of thrust upon their community, and to the people who were there enjoying a festival, and that turned into a dangerous and traumatic event. I only know the name of the little boy who lost his life, Stephen Romero. I do not know the other two people that are that lost their lives yesterday. I apologize for that. I don't know if they've been released or not. I just haven't heard them. So I ask all of my amazing viewers who are inclined to please send 2 different variations of light to the people of Gilroy, the people who have been impacted and affected by this in any way. So first, it's divine white light for just to send love and support. And the other is an emerald green light to send healing energy to heal not only the body, but the mind and the soul from this trauma. So if you're desiring to do that, literally simply picture the colors of light and just send them. Just say, go to Gilroy, go where it's needed. And they will literally travel just as fast as you can think it. And the people there will absolutely feel they will receive it. So, I want to tackle 2 things today that are sort of connected. I have a question, and my question is simply this. Why so much hate? Why so much anger? Let's see what tarot has to tell us about that. I could go into a great big long spiritual explanation about previous civilizations and how they were destroyed because there is this eternal battle between light versus dark, and that is part of it, absolutely, completely, totally part of what is going on the planet. And in fact, there has always been a battle and a balance between good and evil, light and dark, hateful and loving. But it seems lately it has really been escalating. And so I want to just find out a little bit of why, if we can get any clarity on what's going on there. So come on down and let's tackle this sort of philosophical question first. My animal wrangler isn't here right now, so. Why so much hate? Why so much hate? Why so much hate? Okay. So, this is one of my cards for Trump. And he is at the base of what is going on, certainly in the United States. It is not exclusive to the United States. It is going on in countries all around the world. It is going on in countries that are democratic, and it is going on in countries that are ruled by dictators. The bottom line is that hate is a reaction to fear. And fear takes place when our emotions or our sense of security no longer feels either in our control or no longer feels as if it is keeping us in a state where we are protected. So emotions are running high. And what is happening is that people, instead of people turning inward or turning to family and friends to reestablish that sense of security and safety, they are listening to information coming, rhetoric coming from outside sources. And the unfortunate thing about that is that the rhetoric is not intending to calm. Its intention is to amplify and increase the amount of fear and anger, because when you do that, when that happens, you have far greater control over the people who are scared. And you are then able to use all of your tricks to get them to sort of fall in line. And so a lot of what has gone on is, you know, Trump and his sort of transactional attitudes. And what he has done by being that way is he has started to make that way of conducting oneself worse than accepted, but the norm. But take comfort from the fact that with intentions, with clarity, with purpose, and with passion, we globally, and you specifically in the United States, are going to be able to steer yourself into calmer waters. But it is by your actions, it is by your passion that is going to be made manifest. It's not something that you can sit back with, and it's not something that you can just wish into being. If you want to remove the burdens, if you want to leave this troubled and selfish and materialistic time behind you, it's going to take forward movement and motion. It is very scary. And you know, one of the things that is most frightening to people is when they don't feel as if they have the finances or the resources to be able to live the way they want and take care of the things that need to be taken care of. You know, whether that is a rent payment or a mortgage payment or groceries or a medical bill, you know, whatever it is, our first reaction tends to be, I'm scared. And the secret is to figure out a way to move from that sort of negative or non-productive emotion into an emotion that is a little bit more light-filled and a little bit more hopeful. And you do that by taking little steps. It's not, you can't like jump into from one thing to another. It's small incremental steps, and it can be as simple as changing an automatic thought and turning a thought of I do not have to I have what I need for now. There, I am provided for now. And then from there you move to I am able to draw and attract the things that I need and require. Always remember that negative creates more negative. Positive allows positive to be ushered in. There's so much selfishness going on, so much greed, and that is part of it, right? Because as the world moves forward and as countries try to evolve to a more inclusive way of thinking and being, because this isn't 150 years ago or 300 years ago. We now, because of technology, we understand how small we are as a planet, and we understand there's nowhere to jump off. We all have to get together, and you have a segment of the population who thinks that's just fine, and we can just do that as long as me and my stuff aren't affected. And there's another segment who are like, you know what? In order to make this move forward, everybody has to give a little so that everybody can get a lot. And those two forces or those two attitudes are currently bumping up against each other. It's this is the analogy that I'm going to use, and I can't honestly claim it for my own. I am being reminded of something I read a long time ago, and it was this. So there's a bunch of people living in an apartment building, and on one floor, and they're all suffering. Nobody has a lot of anything. And so if every single person from every single apartment took the little they had and offered it to the whole, and every single person did that, the whole all of a sudden would have tremendous abundance, right? Because, that one little box of macaroni is not going to fulfill your needs, right? You need protein, you need fiber, you need fruit, you need vegetable, etc. But maybe your pasta can combine with somebody else's sausages and somebody else's broccoli and somebody else's strawberries, and before you know it, you have created an environment where everybody gets what they need. And there is a huge portion of the planet who understands that and is diligently moving towards that. And there are others who say, I'm going to sit in my apartment in the dark and I'm going to eat all of my stuff myself because I'm scared if I share, I won't receive, or what I have will be diminished. And honestly, that's what's going on. It is being amplified the world over by people, particularly people who are wealthy, who do not want to lose their wealth. They for some reason seem to think that being wealthy makes them special. It makes them important, and it doesn't. All it makes them is wealthy. It doesn't improve their character. It just means that they have, more money in the bank or more assets than the next guy. So I guess the bottom line there is, one just needs to understand, I guess, and absorb the notion that the hate and the hate is a result of the anger, and the anger is the result of fear. And that doesn't make their actions right, not one little bit. And it doesn't mean that we excuse their behavior. But it has always been my belief that in order to fix a problem, you first have to understand the problem, and you have to understand the other side of the problem in order to come to some kind of a balance. So that's the story there. My next question is, I want to do a quick little look-see on the continued reactions to the Russian interference, in some cases reactions and in some cases non-reactions. Hang on a second, I have to go pick up a card that fell, and then we're going to get right on that. Thank you. Okay, so my question is, we know the reactions, right? People are either saying everybody's exaggerating it and blowing it out of proportion, and other people are saying this is really serious and the government needs to hop on to that, and other people are saying what the hell is the matter with Moscow Mitch. Okay, we know the reactions. What I want to know is what's going to happen as a result of the reactions. I'm aware that as of right now, or within the last little bit, there are now 106 Democrats who are anxious to start the impeachment hearings, the impeachment investigations, and so that's a good step forward. And as I have been saying, one of the things that is going to help push those numbers into a solid majority is all of these members going home on their vacation and doing the town halls and having to interact with the peoples of their district, and those that are still perhaps on the fence may very well discover that over the course of August and certainly into September, they too have changed their mind and feel that it is necessary and important to move forward. So come on down and let's see what we can find out. Okay, so the question is, reactions to Russian interference, reactions to Russian interference, reactions to Russian interference. Change is coming. Change is coming. An old way of being and doing and thinking is going by the wayside. Oh, wow. These are awesome cards to answer the question, even though they perhaps may look a little bit ominous. There is a change that is coming to pass. So the sort of almost benign reaction, the kind of, oh, whatever, you know, people are just overreacting, you know, everybody just wants Trump out of office, and they're really blowing up this sort of interference story, is coming to an end and a close. And a new beginning, a new way of doing things is coming forward. The illusions, the stories, the spin are all being recognized for what they are, and people are understanding that that is not helpful. It is not the way forward. And more importantly, citizens are understanding that they need to take action in order to stop the continual amplification of this sort of pivot, distraction, you know, look at the shiny red ball over here, nonsense. People are getting really wise to that. And the only people who think that it continues to work are the very people who are doing the spinning and the pivoting. They do not want to accept. They do not want to accept the fact that this change is happening and it is being pushed forward by people who frankly are tired of this, right? And they don't want the change because that change rocks their security. So I'm thinking of the people who have been compromised by Russia or other countries, the people who have business dealings with other countries that are under the radar or maybe skirting along the top of the radar. They recognize that they're going to lose what they're looking at here if they do this, if they accept this cup, except that cup is what is going to usher in the change. Those who do not want to make that change, those who do not want to be a party to that change, are going to discover themselves left behind, left in ruin, left in a situation that is difficult, if not impossible, to recover from. This is what is so amazing about the people who are so determined to continue with the behavior that is so unbecoming, so immoral, so illegal, whether it is Trump or certain Republicans, and I'm sure there are some Democrats who fall into that same category. They don't seem to be understanding that the change that is sweeping through is sweeping through. It's not meandering. It's not dawdling. It is picking up force day by day by day, and it is absolutely pushing the old ways and the negative ways and the harmful ways to the side and saying enough is enough. We need to make room for that which is positive and healthy and better for all. Okay, and so again, another replay of the thievery that is going on. And it's not only the thievery of material possessions, as in money. The other thing that is being stolen is identity, respect, admiration. So much is being lost in this Trump presidency. Stuff that is going to take a long time for a lot of people to even realize it has been taken, or that it has dramatically and in a negative way really, really impacted almost like the psyche of the country. But those who conduct themselves in these ways are going to find that karma comes upon them much, much faster than it used to. One of the really interesting things that's been going on just energetically globally is karma is happening faster and faster and faster. It used to be that it would take a period of time for karma to sort of make an appearance, if you will. But these days, it seems that sometimes karma comes along so much more quickly than it has in the past. And so people are starting to understand that, wow, these reactions are really, really fast. Okay, we have the Tower here. We have the Death card here. We have rather significant sword cards here. It's all an indicator that which is negative is going to change. There are going to be attacks. Countries are going to try to interfere, but slowly but surely the force of pressure, the momentum that is being built by people saying, no, stop it, get this protection in place, enough is enough, is going to build. And they are going to be able to get some protections in place to prevent and protect themselves from what's coming on. What's coming at you is going to be not necessarily defeated, but at least neutralized a little bit, so that going forward, certainly into the elections, I'm seeing, again, it's not going to be perfectly protected, but I'm getting the sense that it will be protected enough to give voters some confidence that going forward things are going to be in a better way. Yeah. Defeat is coming for these attitudes fostered by Trump and the Mitch McConnells and all of the other people on the take. And those attitudes and that dark money there is going to be a successful and happy result in terms of getting this sort of nonsense out of office. So I think that's relatively good news. So to summarize, fear creates anger, and anger creates violence. And there's a whole lot of it. There's so much of it globally. And I'm sorry, but there seems to be a significant amount of it, and increasing in the United States. And that, of course, is a result of all of the anxiousness and the anxiety that has been triggered and created and amplified by Trump and the Trump administration. Their blatant disregard for not only the law, but basic humanity, basic decency. There isn't a way for them to continue to sustain it, because it's just too over the top. It is going to have to get reined in, and it will get reined in by the people. And as far as Russian interference, the reaction appears to be that there is going to be forward momentum, whether that is related to the impeachment hearings on Trump, or whether that is people contacting and connecting with their district representatives and saying, enough, you fight to get these protections in place. And you have the power to do that. And that's what's so remarkable and amazing. So, for today, thank you very much. Thank you for finding me, for joining me, for liking, for subscribing. Your comments are wonderful. I thank you very, very much. Take care. Be well. And we'll see you really soon. Bye-bye.